everybody, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to be talking about moving on from your ex. So we were discussing on and off relationships, getting back with your ex, you know what I mean, and when to stay and when to go, that type of thing. I don't know if there's like a true like answer to that, but we have like a strong opinion on this. And like I feel like if you were in a relationship, it was like one of those weird volatile relationships and never really worked out. There's always problems, you know what I mean? But you keep going back. I think that you're setting your life up. Like, first of all, you're wasting your time, but you're setting your life up for a huge disappointment.
I think it depends on the person. I mean, a lot of people, there have been, like, I've had relationships before. One of my very first, the love of my life, back in my 20s, I went back with him for 5 years. That would go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And a lot of that was because I didn't like being alone. Yeah. And I always wanted to try to get through to him. Right. Because he was so broken all the time. And I always felt like I was like the broken police, like I come in and fix people. Yeah. That was my thinking in my 20s. Right. You know what I mean? But it doesn't, to me, that 5 years of that, you know, I think it wastes time for someone that's better for you. You don't know that, of course, when you're doing it. But I think there's a point in time when you have to sort of let people just go. But I think, like you were saying before, Danielle used to tell me once that, you know, in order to really get someone out of your system, you almost have to tell them how you feel in a genuine way. Yeah. You know, and I never used to do that with men ever.
Well, because it was always kind of hard for you, right?
Because I don't open up like
Kara's
that.
Not super, Kara's it can be.
I'm not good
emotional.
at being vulnerable.
Yeah, vulnerable is better.
You know what I mean? I'm not good at that. You know what I mean? I'm like poker face a lot of times. You know what I mean? And so, but in work life, that's great. In personal life, not great. Yeah. You know what I mean? And when it came to men, partially because I didn't have a father growing up, I looked at men as not on my side. Right. Well, I didn't see men at the time like as what's the word, stable, like loyal. I didn't think of men as loyal in my earlier days. I didn't see it as that. So I guess that might be the reason why you're not as emotional. Right. I'm not. In general, though, I'm not. Yeah. No. So I'm not using my father as a reason, but generally my personality is that I'm always in sort of serious mode. It's like I guess it's a way of protecting myself, or it's just part of my personality. But back when I was broken and I used to date men, I would never let them see me vulnerable. I would never let them see me cry, and I would never tell them how I truly felt about them because I didn't want to give them the satisfaction I feel like they got to me. Right. But what I would do is take them back. Oh, so you would be like, oh, well, yeah, because they're probably thinking, well, you know, she doesn't really care because she's not showing that. And I always wrote it off as their problem. Yeah. So that I didn't have to take responsibility for the fact that I didn't have enough guts to walk away. Yeah. And so I always used to say, oh, well, they need to grow. Yeah. They need to be better. They need to be better. I've done everything. And you know what I mean? And the truth isn't, no, I didn't. You know what I mean? As a woman, I wasn't being a woman. I was being a man. When someone's being rude, mean, disrespectful to you, like their behavior is so much at the forefront that it's easy to go and blame them. Right? Because their behavior is so bad that even on the outside, people looking in like, oh my God, he's mean to you. You know, she's not right for you. But everyone takes responsibility for accepting that behavior. So it's like when you're seeing the guy back in the day, right, and you weren't showing your vulnerability and all that, he wasn't seeing that. You weren't really being yourself. No. You know what I mean? So his behavior was bad, but your stand on thing, the way you kept taking him back, that's really the bigger problem because he would be staying away had you got together. No one's saying it's right that he treated you that way at all, but the truth is, if you take responsibility and accountability, it would have been a whole and same thing for me. Like it would have been a whole different subject. Right now and then I would always take them back, and then they'd always act the same way again, over and over again. But I always thought, I always convinced myself when they were coming back to me, oh, they changed. That's just a way for me to get them back. Now, if you fast forward to any relationships I've had since, I've learned to even when it's ended, to tell them exactly how I feel. And even with my last relationship, I actually cried.
Yeah. Which is really unprecedented for you, because Karen
actually cried and gave him all my feelings. But what I learned from that was that it was easy for me to move on from him by doing that.
Right.
Because now there's nothing left unsaid for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I meant what I said, and that's it. And I have never wanted to go back since then. So I think that there is a thing that when you have a revolving door in a relationship, you really are keeping yourself from being with somebody good. Yeah. Also, even being single, being happy single. Right. Because a lot of times, even when you break up with this person and you can't let them go, you're not having a good single life because you're always thinking about them coming back and when they're going to do it.
Right. Because I always feel like the right person's not going to enter your life until you're happy. Right. So when you're happy, the right person, the very least, the people that you're dating, when you get into that, you're going to open yourself up to whole people. If you're whole, you open yourself up to whole people. And if you end up going out with somebody who is not whole, you'll recognize it more immediately. Right. If you are in a good place. Right. You know what I mean? So to me, I feel like you just got to be real. Like, for you, like not ever showing emotion around men, because you just...
I would say I keep it real in most of my life, but in my relationship lives, I don't. Right. Because when they hurt me, when any man has ever hurt me, when any man has ever hurt me, that was when I put all the emotion somewhere else. Yeah. And then I just give you... Right. My representative. Right. You know what I mean? But now I realize, I think it's maybe age too. As you get older, you care less about being in relationships that don't serve you. Yeah. At all. Right. You know what I mean? So I do think that there's some part of you that I always think that there's some part of you that's not done. When you're not done, you're always going to take the person back. Yeah, because you're hoping that they're different. That's what happens with breakups, is that the breakups and that whole getting back together, and breaking up and doing it again, breaking up and doing this again. It's like what you're hoping is that they've changed every time. And so what will happen is that they will change. And sometimes it is a good permanent change. It's look, this is not this is exception and rule situation. There are exceptions where people have genuinely changed, and the relationship, you can now move forward in a relationship and happily ever after, right? But most of the time, if you had a volatile relationship and you keep going away, breaking up and getting back together like that several times, the person is doing a temporary change. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's all very temporary. That means that in a couple of months, they'll do all the nice things. And if it's, for instance, if it's a guy and he's buying you roses all of a sudden and taking you out and just having deeper conversations with you and but you can always see the unwholeness people. You can always see the unwholeness in people, I think, when you can see it in you. You know what I mean? So they don't really change. It's like a temporary thing. It's not the real show, So I think that if you're going back to a relationship where it's just going to be, you just know it's going to be temporary, it's not a real thing, then you're just setting yourself up. You literally just set yourself up. Yeah. I always think you have to be, as I've gotten older, I think that I've learned about having responsibility for your own happiness. Yeah. And I am someone who, I have my independent streak and I think it serves me that in that way, is that I love making myself happy. I like being single. I don't have a problem with being single, but I also but I did before. Yeah. And I think it's because I was so unhappy alone. Yeah. But I think that when you're more in charge of your own feelings and because part of when people take people back, the one of the reasons that makes it so hard is because you're both in this sort of trap where they know you so much now that they know your triggers. They know what you'll take. They'll know just what to say, what to do to make you want to come back. And then you're so, lost in trying to make them different and make them see things your way that you're kind of in this like psychological game that's not real. Right. It's never going to end anywhere. And a lot of people always think, oh, but what if they really do change? But even if they really do change, sometimes people are not for you. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like my ex-boyfriend, he's just not for me. He could literally be changed right now and come back. Right. But I think this is part of telling the truth of how you really feel. And then you realize, we're just not compatible. So even if he came back to me right now, it would be a no. Yeah. Not because he's mean or not because he was just a horrible person, because he wasn't. He wasn't a horrible person. Right. You know what I mean? It's a no because the kind of man that I'm looking for is not him. Well, if you can't get it right, like I know somebody who's been that's went back and forth with their husband.
3-4 times, right? Apart, moved back in, separated, divorced. Or, you know, I even know people who divorced, got back married, remarried,
right,
and now got another divorce. It's like, yeah, but what is this? I remember asking someone I know, like, what is this getting? What is this doing for you?
Right.
If you know, like, if you feel like, you know, your ex has changed so much, right? And then this is like the 4th time now you're going back to him. Don't you think that, what is that saying to you? To me, it's saying we're not getting something right here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that may just be that you're just not compatible with each other. Like, I feel like that's just compatibility issue too, you know, and then also in combination with you just don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
Because I think most people, when they do this back and forth, I feel like they just don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
You know, and when someone's not feeling good about themselves, I don't feel sorry for them, but I understand it.
Yeah.
I understand if you're not happy and, you know, all you know is bad, you know what I mean? You'll just take that. Yeah. Okay, it's fine. It's whatever. I'll take it. As long as this person's there, right. You know what I mean? I have somebody. There's a lot of people who base everything off of, as long as I have somebody, I'm good. We can work through this. But can you? I don't think you can work. After a while,
a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, we must be meant together because God keeps bringing us back together." But God doesn't always bring people together. Right. Insecurities do, though. Right. And a lot of our relationships that we choose based on our insecurities and not our higher vibrating self. So when we're in a really, really great place, we're better at making decisions. But a lot of times when we're not in a good place, even if we're walking around smiling and thinking we're happy, got a good job, but if you're not in a really internally good place, your insecurities will match up with another insecure person. Right. And you think you're meant together because you're meant to be together because you keep seeing each other all the time. Right. But the truth is that you just are both you're both damaged and you need to be away from each other. And then
stay away.
That's why I always say single life is there for a reason. It's there to help you become your better version of yourself. And a lot of people spend their single life trying to, you know, look for someone. Yeah. Instead of just finding themselves. Right. You know, if you can't be happy with yourself by yourself, you can't attract anybody else who's happy with themselves. Yeah. You're going to attract people that are unhappy and they match your insecurities. Right. You know, it's like I say, a man who beats his wife can't date a woman who doesn't accept that. Right. He can only date a woman that's used to getting beat. Right. You know what I mean? A man or a woman who is a gold digger. She can't date a guy who expects more of a woman than that. Expects more, you know, internally more. She'll only date guys who are lower vibrating and willing to give because they think that you know, is the way to get women. Right. You know what I mean? We attract who we are. It's easier to look outside of other people's behavior and not look at your own. It's very easy to do that. Trent Shelton, you know, the guy, he put up a post this morning and it said, sometimes you have to cut ties with people who aren't good for you. He said the love isn't lost, but the communication isn't healthy. Yeah. And so I think that is what happens to a lot of people. You can love someone and not be with them. Yeah. You can still love someone and not be with them. You can still you can still like somebody and they just, I mean, that can not just be relationship, it can be family members, that can be friends. Yeah. Sometimes people are not good for you anymore. And you have to let them go, even if they kind of changed. Sometimes I believe that because a lot of people like the word soulmate. And to me, soulmate is anybody who's been in your life. It's the souls that come into your life to kind of show you who you are and where you are at. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so therefore my ex-boyfriend was my soulmate, my other ex-boyfriend, and my husband will be my soulmate. Well, eventually people are just going to show you, you're just learning from all your relationships. Right. Like all your relationships are just teaching you more and more about yourself. Right. And you learn about your partner, but teaching you more about yourself. So if you're constantly going back to a bad person, you're learning more about yourself through that. So when my ex left me, had I gone back and stayed with him, even though he was saying, oh, I've changed, I'm going to do this for you and that for you, and so sorry I left you, you know, the whole thing. It's like, yeah, but now I have to look at, why would I go back to somebody who would up and leave like that? Right. You know what I mean? When it wasn't, the reason behind it was not great. It's not a good reason. But you know, to take it off of him for a minute, so I can easily say that was wrong. You shouldn't leave people, you know, stranded like that, because they're not, their life doesn't, because that's kind of what it was, is that my life didn't look to the outside the way he was wanting it to look to other people.
I don't have a lot of money. You know what I mean? I don't have a lot of money. I don't have, a lot of stuff. I don't have a big, fancy title to my job. I don't have a fancy job, so it didn't look good. So I got left because of that. Now, had I gone back, knowing all the information, had I gone back after he was like, oh, no, I'm coming back. I love you and blah, blah, blah. Had I gone back to that, that's really showing me who I am at this point. Because if someone can leave like that and not care, then I'm learning a lot about I would be learning a lot about who I am. It wouldn't be worth it to me.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people feel like you got to be mad when you leave, or you got to just be done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes, like, in an angry way. And I don't even think you have to be angry.
I say don't
be angry. I think that really kind of proves that you're not done.
Don't be angry. Actually look for the best in this person. Look, hope that the person finds what they're looking for, and it takes a minute to get to there, though. You can't just go from getting. Yeah,
but I will say that you telling me to tell the truth. In that feeling, I think I felt that. Yeah. I felt I wanted him to be happy. Yeah. And I wanted him to find someone who was happy with him quicker than ever, because I really was done. Yeah. And so I think I was only done because I told him the truth and I had nothing else to tell him. Right.
Well, when people try to leave in a badass way, so what happens is a lot of righteous people will try to leave, an ego will take over, and they want to leave kind of in a badass way. You didn't hurt me. I'm out of here. I don't care. You bye. That kind of way. But it's not really what you're feeling internally, especially women. It's not really what we're feeling internally. You're not telling the truth. So what was happening with you is that you weren't telling the truth. So he was getting the hard shell, Kara, when there's the whole nother person, a whole nother thought process of what you were going through. That I feel that the most beneficial thing you can do, for women with men, the most beneficial thing that you can do is be feminine in the moment. If you feel like you want, and the truth is that women are complex. We are emotional. We are tough. We have some toughness to us too, but we are emotional people, and you can't get away from that. So when you're trying to leave someone and you're holding back what your real feelings are because you're trying to be big and bad, you're not helping that person and you're not helping yourself. So just be real in the moment. If it means you're going to cry, he needs to see that.
That's what I'm saying.
Not be a cry baby, but
that's what I'm saying. I think that I was able to wish him the best,
right?
Because I wasn't mad.
Yeah.
I wasn't angry at all, because I also think you have to take responsibility, in your situation. I'm one of those people that believe that if you take full responsibility for things, it becomes more in your court, and then you realize that you have the power to change your life. You can't have someone should not be your emotional compass. Like, you know what I mean? You should be able to be happy by yourself. Someone should just be able to come into your life and take all your happiness away. Right. That's what I was.
But we have a new subscriber. Thanks for subscribing. No, but we have a new subscriber. She just said this in one of our videos. She commented on one of our videos. She said, responsibility or accountability is key. And it 100%. If you don't take accountability for yourself, hang it all up. It's over. It's over.
Yeah, because the one thing I did tell him was, I don't blame you for everything, because a part of it was I was willing to stay. Right. I was still answering the phone. I was still seeing you. So that part is my fault. That's not your fault, because I had any time I could have just said I'm not happy and I left it, but I wasn't saying that to you. You know what I mean? I was like, now there are some things you did wrong, and I told him what his things wrong, but the biggest thing was when I told him what I did wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I wasn't being honest. Because I wasn't happy, but I wasn't saying it.
Right. And that's the worst.
And that is a lie. That is a lie also. You know what I mean? So it's just like you have to be honest with your own feelings to the person. Even men. You can't just sit around just looking blank face and stupid because you don't want to cry in front of a woman. You don't want to say anything. If you aren't happy, you need to say that. Right. A lot of people aren't happy in relationships, and they end up getting married unhappy. And then once they're married, then once they're legally bonded, then it's like, man, I'm in this with this person legally.
Well, don't you think though that most people see? I always have a thing that when relationships are horrible relationships, usually from beginning of their marriage all the way to the end of their marriage is a bad relationship. I always feel like you knew that about this person before. There was something there that this person was always like this. You know what I mean? And then when you got serious with them, it just got more animated, more bigger. The disrespect got more bigger. But I always feel like people, if you're with the wrong person, You know, there was something there, and that I always feel like that. There's something there that there's a red flag happened somewhere in there, and what you did is ignored it, and then just kept going on and on and on to the relationship, and then dates and having fun and look at all the fun times and forgetting that, oh my gosh, this relationship is really, really
the
bad.
newness of a relationship can always make the
rose-colored glasses.
Right. The newness of a relationship can always make bad habits look all right.
Yeah.
Until you've been with them for a while and the new one has died. The newness has died down. Like now they're just this person. Yeah. And all those habits that you didn't like are now still there because that's their life. You know what I mean? This is who they are. Yeah. You know what I mean? And now you've got children by them. You know, people who do that, they have kids by these people. Yeah. You know, they get married. And then instead of looking at yourself, you start blaming it. Oh, he cheated or she lied and he did this. Instead of saying, I wasn't happy for a long time. You
ever see people go, he just wasn't like this before?
That's a lie.
He was like, I'm like, no, look, you sound crazy right now. Listen, you sound crazy. That no one can go from zero to crazy. You know what I mean? Just overnight. There was always something there. Yeah. You just didn't want to see it.
It's the newness. When the newness wears off, the actual person starts to come forward. Right. And then all those, like I said, all those annoying little habits just become an annoying person. You know what I mean? Because we can all get all excited when someone first comes in our life and then all the little things they do. Like, I know women who date men who have always looked at other women in front of them. That's just the way it is. But then once they've been with them for a while, they think this is rude. Yeah. He's doing it. And like, that always was. Don't act like that wasn't always.
He was a womanizer. You saw it then. You saw it then. You just didn't want, you were pretending because you wanted to be in a relationship. Right. And that to me is like it's just like, I don't like when people do that. I think that's the beginning stages of on and off relationships right there, is that when you don't want to just tell the truth of what, and I'm saying this, not judging. I'm saying it because I literally did it lots of times where I knew the person before we were just dating, there were little small things. They're nice, little small things. Just like, I didn't really like that. But I just kept going. Because I thought, well, at least I'm in a relationship. At least I'm in a relationship. It's, big deal. But and then I act super shocked that they're just all of a sudden not nice to me. It's like, no.
I'm closer now to being somebody's wife than I ever was. Right. And I used to always think that. I always think, I'm ready to be someone's wife. But the truth is, no. Yeah. When I think of who I used to be, there was no way I could have been someone. But right now, because I just like being single. I'm probably more in a position to be someone's wife now than I probably ever was before. Right. Well, because I'm not looking for anyone to complete me. Yeah. Or to make me, or make me, look good. Yeah. Or I like myself as I am.
Because I used to be the type of person that would be a big pretender in relationships.
Image was not a big deal. It's not a big deal to me.
Like I would be a big pretender in relationships. That's my big thing, is that I would pretend this person is great, the relationship is fun, we're doing this and that and the other, and it's like, I was knowing that I was just wearing rose-colored glasses, just trying to make it seem like it's better than what it was. I knew that logically, and just had full acknowledgement that I wasn't with the right person, but kept being with them because I didn't want to be alone. Yeah. That's just the truth of it. Now, when you tell that truth, and it's not fun to say that. Most people, especially women, don't want to say, I just didn't want to be alone. Right. I just didn't want to be alone, so I kept with the relationship.
Most men don't want to say that either.
I didn't want to be alone, so I just kept with it. The truth is that I just didn't want to be alone, right? And so I kept choosing, enthusiastically, by the way, the wrong people, and then staying in relationships with the wrong person. And then when it all blows up, you know what I mean? I'm a big phony because I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe they treated me this bad. Even my ex, it was the circumstances in which he left, to me, was wrong for him. To do that as a man and as a person, right? However, the fact that he did, and the fact that I knew that there were some problems there, and I just kept going. That's me. That was me. That wasn't him. It was just that the way it happened, that's what happens too, is when you keep going back, or you keep, it's going to blow up in your face. Yeah. It's going to blow up in your face eventually. And then you'll start crying about how you didn't know this was going to happen. And oh my God, he changed overnight. No, I'm telling you, it's not what happened. Okay. To me, it's not what happened. No.
There's like a saying, the lies we tell ourselves are the things that keep us in bondage.
It's true.
It's the lies we don't want to admit to ourselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm much more of an honest person as a date. I'm much more honest. Yeah. And if you're not, if I go out on a date with you and it's not going to work, I'm at a point in my life now that I can just say that.
And that could just be with age. I know it could be. I was in my 20s, but my relationship that I'm talking about was I was in my 30s. I was a grown ass woman with grown bills, and I'm a grown person. So there's no excuse. When you're in your 20s, you can kind of when you're in your 20s, you can kind of blame it on young and stupid, maybe. But when you start getting,
you can just blame it on
your 30s and 40s, and you're still up here going back and forth with someone that is wrong, you have a problem. Yeah. Like, you're now the problem, and I won't accept anything different than that. Right. That's you. So whenever I hear, like, if I have a friend that comes to me, and so I have a friend in New York that did this, she's like, oh my God, he's not nice to me, and he's not mean. I'm like, yeah, but you've been back with him a million times. She took my advice, left him, stayed away, right? Then I started dating somebody in New York. I started dating somebody. He wasn't treating me well, right? I had the same sob story to her. I was like, he's always treating well. You know what she said to me? Why do you keep going back? So yeah, she was right to say that. She was right to say, and as a friend, like I want that. Like, I want you to tell me, and she was like, look, a few months ago you were saying the same thing to me. Now here you are crying over somebody that you keep going back to. What's your problem? And so I wasn't even mad at her. I was like, I was not in the moment. I was like, shut up. You know what I mean? I was like, whatever. Right. But then, like, literally the next day I was like, you're right. I gotta stop. And I did.
And like, again, women have egos too. And in my situation, I had a massive ego. I didn't want to tell anybody how I felt. I didn't want anyone to see. I didn't want any man to see me in a vulnerable situation. And so I didn't realize that vulnerability is really where your power is. Yeah, it is. We don't do that in our country a lot either. We always think that being tough and being a ball buster and bullies and you know what I mean, that gets you far. But no, vulnerability, especially when it comes to love, is the only way I think that you can get to a happy relationship. Right. Like, I feel like you gotta be willing to get hurt. Yeah. And that's the thing with relationships is that if you're not willing, you have to go in. This is a matters of the heart are not like cut and dry. Like, it's not just like, this is how it's going to be, then this, then next stage, and then this. No. It's like, look, it doesn't work like that. It's like you have to just go in. Right. Like, you're just diving into God knows what. Right? You may know the person. You may think that you know the person. You may really feel you do. You may just know them. But, as time goes on, things can change. Yeah. So, it's like, look. Don't get caught up right. And I think like even when you're single, it's your time to get some standards. Yeah. When you get some standards, keep your standards. I mean, even if someone doesn't agree with you, because you're going to date people who are going to think you're too high standardy, or they're going to start because they don't fit it. They're going to try to make you feel bad and call you bougie and all these things people like to say when they don't, meet the standard. You know what I mean? But that is part of being single is getting yourself to a place where you're strong mentally and emotionally, and then you will get standards, and then you won't be afraid to really act on those standards. Like, no, sorry, you're not enough, or you're not the one for me, or I'm just, you know what I mean? But don't lower your standards and keep going back to the same people, and then thinking that things are going to change just because you know this person. Even if you have a fight and you realize that you want to break up, don't break up immediately. Yeah, don't. You know what I mean? Really, because even when I broke up with my ex-boyfriend, I was pretty upset with him, but I didn't break up with him. It took me 2 weeks to actually, then I separated for 2 weeks. Like, I didn't want to talk to him, but I wasn't angry. My emotions. You had to assess your thoughts. Because you should make decisions angry or too happy, really. You should kind of be in a neutral place. Even you know what I mean? And it really came down to the point was, I said this to myself, you're just not happy with this person. This person makes you cry. You're just not happy. And your feelings are a litmus test to how you react to another person. If you're around another person, they don't make you want to be a better person. Then that's it. And all you're doing is crying and being unhappy. They're not helping. That's God. That's God saying, that gave you feelings for a reason. They're not encouraging you. They're not helping you achieve your goals emotionally, whatever, financially, whatever it is. They're not helping you in any way, and you just don't feel like when you're in a relationship and you feel like you're literally alone and you're in a relationship, it's time to call it quits. And I'm not saying it can't be a challenge. Because I think that I always want I like challenge. Everybody likes challenge. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not, because challenge is a whole nother thing. But when someone is just not for you, and you know that, and the only reason you're with them, and you know it deep in your soul, you know that the only reason you're with them is because there's no one else. you know, I always say, like, people are not supposed to be your happiness. They're supposed to be part of your happiness. They're supposed to be, you know, an add-on to what's already shaped in your life. So no one's supposed to come in your life and really completely change it or change you. You are fundamentally supposed to be a happy, well-rounded person that will attract who you are. So you will attract another healthy, well-rounded person. But if you feel that you need to have someone simply because you feel that it doesn't look good to be single, or you're lonely, or you're 40, or you're a single mother, that is not enough to just be in a relationship with someone. That is a sure sign you need to be single.
Like, I'm not a big fan of when people say, you complete me or you're my everything.
No.
I don't, those two statements, you complete me and you're my everything.
No one's ever going to love me more than me.
When you're saying that, what you are saying is that I need you for me to be me. You know what I mean? And that shouldn't be it.
Right.
You shouldn't need somebody to be whole. You should be whole, marry a whole person, two whole pieces come together, and then you have a round relationship, the body of the relationship is really good. But when you're talking about you complete me, that means that you're not whole yet.
Yeah.
You're not completed. You're not personally completed with yourself yet.
Chink in the chain.
And when you get, I think this is a matter. Tell us if you guys agree or disagree, because I don't, you know, everybody has differences of opinion, but I do think you have to be already feeling that way about yourself.
And even when you leave someone, sometimes I think, like, sometimes you help the other person when you don't come back.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
You help them become a different version of themselves. Because there are a lot of people who get into relationships and they treat a person a really bad way, but they're so used to getting back with people with their charm or something. And sometimes you help a person grow when you walk away and stay gone.
Yeah, stay gone. Even if it's hard, sometimes it's hard to stay gone because you're. It's only hard to stay gone when you don't. Yeah. When you're not loving yourself. Yeah. When you love yourself, it's easier to understand that there was no compatibility there. You know what I mean? There was a big problem, whatever the problem was. But yeah, stay gone. You're going to help that person and for their future spouse. And then you helped yourself because you opened yourself up to the idea of the right person will now come into your life because you made a decision. Yeah. You said, no, I'm going to choose myself this time. I'm not going to keep going back to you. This time, choose myself. I'm staying away. But if you keep trying to be around this person and stay around, hover around their life, even though you guys broke up, no,
because Dr. Phil once said, remember back in the day, you teach people how to treat you.
You do.
And if you teach someone that no matter how bad they hurt you, that you will always take them back as long as they say, do, or even just want to be with you, then that person has no reason to change. Yeah. They have no reason to be different if you are the same person and they have no fear of ever losing you. Yeah. But if you, and most times those people don't even really want you. They like your energy because you're an easy access for their own insecurity. You know what I mean? But I always think that sometimes people, even if the person has changed, sometimes it just isn't meant for you to be together and you need to be gone. And sometimes it's not even just for them, it's for you to understand
that's what I'm saying.
It's like them, it's for you as well. So that you realize that you tell yourself the truth. You don't keep lying to yourself, because when you lie to yourself, that's the biggest lie of all. True. People say, not lies that people tell you. The lie you tell yourself are the lies that are the worst, because you don't trust yourself anymore. Yeah.
So we're going to wrap it up now, running out of time. Tell us what you think. Whether you agree or disagree, comment below and let us know, because not everybody has the same opinions. We want to hear what y'all think. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and our Facebook and Instagram pages. Follow us there as well. And that's it. Hey guys, thank you so much. Everybody have a good day, and we will see you next time. Bye.